Alright, I'm back starting on the word problems here with problem 32. So it's a work problem. So the work problem, you're always going to have two people and you're always going to write an equation for each of them. So it's rate times time equals work done is your equation. So in this case, we have Shayna. She can do 40 bushels in 10 hours. So Shayna, and you know what, let me draw my little table. Wow, this is really messy. Okay, so I'm going to have one entry for Shayna and one for Rob. Okay. So Shayna does 40 in 10 hours. So her rate is 40 bushels divided by 10 hours is 4 bushels per hour. Rob can pick the same amount in 8 hours. So his would be 40 divided by 8 or 5. His rate is 5 bushels per hour. Okay, how long would it take them if they worked together? Okay, so we don't know how long, but it would be the same for each of them. And her work would be 4x, because for 8 times time equals work done. His is going to be 5, the amount of work he does is going to be 5x. So what does that mean? Well, the total amount they work, so I'm going to add them together, is equal to 40. So uh, that's my equation. So I'm going to combine like terms. So I get divided by 9 divided by 9. So x equals 40 over 9, which let's see what it is. I'll do division the old-fashioned way. It's 4.44. I think it repeats hours. I'm going to say it's equal to approximately 4.4 hours if they work together, which you would expect it to be somewhere in between how fast Rob does and how fast Shayna does, which it is. Because she's slowing him down, but he's speeding her up because he works faster. Okay, now we have a rate time distance problem. Okay, opposite direction. Okay, so we're always going to have something like this, and we add up their total distances and get what how far apart they are after a certain amount of time. So I'm going to have two entries, and the formula is rate times time equals distance. So I'm going to have Daniel and Stephanie. So Daniel's rate is 55. Stephanie left an hour later and in the opposite direction when the average speed is 75. Okay, so if we make x be Daniel's time, she left 1 hour later, so then she would have traveled one less than Daniel's time. So I multiply out across and get 55x there. I get 75 times x minus 1 for Stephanie. Okay, so, and this is Daniel, and this is Stephanie. How long does Stephanie need to drive before they're 445 miles apart? Okay, so my equation then is the distance Daniel goes plus the distance Stephanie goes is equal to 445. So let me solve that equation. So I'm going to get 55x plus 75x minus 75 equals, I cannot even talk and write at the same time, equals 445. Add those together, I get 130x. And if I add 445, I get 520. And if I solve that equation, I get x equals 4. So Daniel's time is 4 hours, and Stephanie would have gone 4 minus 1, or 3 hours. And that's that one. Okay, now we're on to logs here. Okay, so this means what power raises 6 to be 216? 6 to what power is 216? Well, it is the third power. So that means that's equal to 3. Or you could do the change of base formula on your calculator and do log 216 divided by log 6. That will also give you 3. Okay, rewrite the equation in exponential form. And I'm sorry, my neighbors are being kind of noisy right now. They're out on their deck. Okay, so I'm going to do y to the 14th power equals x. Okay, it didn't say solve the equation, it just said write the equation. Okay, so that's 35. Rewrite it in logarithmic form. Okay, so I know my base is going to be v. The exponent, it's going to be there, and then this is going to be, so I would have v to the negative 18th equals 94, and that's correct. Okay, expand. Alright, so if I do log base 9, 3 to the 5th, 2 to the 10th, and multiplication becomes addition when you split, expand a logarithmic. And then lastly, the exponent comes out and becomes a multiplier. So I would have 5 log 3 plus 10 log 2. And that would be the expanded form. Condense. Okay, so this is going backwards. That becomes an exponent. That becomes an exponent. And I cross it out there. And then subtraction becomes division when you expand, or when you condense. Alright, I'm not thinking here. So it's going to be log base 8, 5 to the 4th over 12 to the 5th, whatever that is. Okay, use a calculator. Alright. You know what? I'm just going to use my phone right now. At any rate, on my calculator, I would say log 34 divided by log 4. So let me go do where is that calculator? Don't tell me I don't have it on here. Alright, let me see if the standard Android one will work. Does it have logs on it? Oh yeah, it does. Log 34 divide by log 4. Oh, it's actually pretty nice. 2.54. Okay, solve the log equation. Okay, so this is log equals log. So all I do is equate the arguments and then solve. So I'm going to subtract 3b and add 8. Those drop out, and I get b equals 18. So you really don't need to do anything with logarithms at all other than equate their arguments. Okay, this is the exponential kind that you solve by taking logs. So the first thing you want to do is isolate the expression with the exponent. So I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. I'm going to get 10 to the r equals 30. Okay, then I do log 10 of both sides of the equation. Causes that to drop out, and I get r equals log 30 base 10. Okay. All right, so this one, I want to get rid of, this is the third kind of them. I want to get the log expression all by itself on one side of the equation. And now I'm going to rewrite that in exponential form. So that would be 4 to the first power equals n plus 1. Because when you do that, you do that to that power is equal to that. Okay, then I'm going to subtract 1. And I get 3 equals n, or n equals 3. And once again, you want to check whatever your solutions are. If it's a log equation, you want to take your solution, put it in for the argument of the log, and make sure you don't get a negative number. If you get a negative number, when you substitute, for example, in this problem, I would be substituting in 3 in for n plus 1. I don't get a negative number, so it's fine. Okay, let's see, where are we? Okay, so here's a similar one. I'm going to subtract 5. And you get 16 to the 3 minus 8r equals 48. Then I'm going to do log of 16 of both sides. Note that this has to equal that. Okay, so let's see. Oh yeah, so log 16 base 16, that crosses out. You get 3 minus 8r equals log 48 base 16. Okay, so now I'm going to solve that equation. I'm going to subtract 3, and lastly divide by negative 8. So I'm going to get negative 8. What was I working with? R? Yes. Negative 8r equals log 48 base 16 minus 3. Divide by negative 8. And that's all you can do. So you get r equals log 48 base 116 minus 3 all over negative 8. Oh, and I still have a few more log equations. Ugh, there are no end to these. Alright, I'm going to try to go through them as quickly as possible. Ugh, there's a lot of them. Alright, I think I'll pause and start a new screencast with problem 44.